gonna stop us. I will give you a $20 bill if you can tell me the movie that this was the closing song for. Not you, sir. Him. Because he knew. He immediately peeked over. Don't tell him.
I'll give you $10.
No, don't tell him.
Split it.
Don't tell him.
We'll split it.
Don't tell him. He's got to go on his own.
Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now was the closing
Nothing's
song
Gonna Stop Us
in
Now.
a movie. I'll give you one hint if you can't guess it.
Go ahead.
Kim Cattrall is in the movie.
You've just confused me.
Yeah.
Because
All right, I'm going to give you 10 seconds because this is...
No, give me another hint.
No, that's it.
Come on, one more.
I mean, she hasn't done that many movies.
I mean, I think of her, though, as...
Sex in the City.
Yes.
This is before Sex in the City.
Say
80s.
anything.
No, say anything. You were close because John Cusack is similar to the actor.
Who is it?
It was the movie Mannequin.
Mannequin. I would never have gotten Mannequin.
Yeah, it was Mannequin.
Was John Travolta in Mannequin?
No, it was Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah, who is Cusack-esque.
Yeah, he's in
not
the
as
same,
good as Cusack.
No, but he's in the same era.
Yeah, and in a lot of romantic comedies like Cusack was.
And a big 710 listener.
Probably.
Andrew McCarthy.
I mean, he might be.
Big 710 listener. Shout out Andrew.
Yeah.
And John Travolta, who's another big 710 listener.
And
shout out John.
Kim Cattrall was the mannequin.
Love Kim
that he
Cattrall.
fell in love with.
Love Kim
She would
Cattrall.
come to life at night. She worked in the department store.
She was the hot, dirty one on...
she was, yes, on Sex and the City.
God, she was hot.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yeah.
What, Lindsay? What?
It just sounds super creepy, Cap.
What, the hot, dirty one?
Yes.
No, but she was. She was like the dirty one, wasn't she?
She was that one.
Right, wasn't
She was
she?
the promiscuous one.
Yeah, that's so, okay, promiscuous. Dirty. I mean, it's just colorful
promiscuous
language.
girl.
That's all.
Like Nelly Furtado and Timbaland, man.
You know it.
Like
That's
Tim.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, as we were talking,
yes, sir.
So we'll talk more basketball here in a second. I did see something that popped up on one of the screens here that I wanted to talk to you about. Will Levis will meet with the Raiders. I told you the Raiders are going to go get a quarterback, man. This Jimmy Garoppolo thing, you nailed this. He's a placeholder. It's just a matter for who.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be Will Levis, because he's the guy that I think is most likely to drop of those guys. Because Bryce and CJ are going to be the top two guys. And then I think someone will take a chance on Anthony Richardson because just the upside is insane. Mm-hmm. And Levis is kind of like a safe pick in the sense of you feel like he's going to be pretty good under the right tutelage. Maybe he's not a superstar. He's got a cannon for sure. But he's kind of got the guy who can be more than a game manager kind of feel to me. And if you're Josh McDaniels, that's, it buys you more time, too.
I can't believe I'm about to tell you this, but last week when all these kids that you're mentioning, all these top four quarterbacks, they all had their pro days last week.
You watched it.
And I watched it.
The Underwear Olympics.
I watched it all play out on ESPN.
Right.
Louis Riddick is there.
Yeah, they were all there. Yeah.
Todd McShay is in the house.
Todd.
And they're doing all the interviews with these kids afterwards.
Yeah.
And you're watching the coaches kind of buddy up to them.
Yeah.
And that's how the fraternity is started.
Right.
It's not just because of your career. It's as you're growing into it and the coaches that come to see you and that you get to meet and so on. I actually liked Will Levis.
You did?
In his workout. I was surprised that he was athletically built the way he is.
He's like a Ryan Tannehill-esque type player.
Well, Tannehill had this tall wide receiver kind of body.
Right. He's very athletic.
Yeah, that he converted into a quarterback body.
Yeah.
But this guy, Will Levis, believe it or not, he kind of reminded me of Derek Carr a lot.
But bigger. Way bigger.
Like stronger, fitter, more muscular looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I liked Will Levis. I looked at his numbers at Kentucky.
You did?
And they're good. They're okay.
Did a deep dive?
Not really.
Oh.
More of a shallow dive.
I'll give you this because I have a buddy who works in the hotel industry in Lexington.
Uh-huh.
So he's become kind of like, the team stays at his hotel, so he's become like a de facto Kentucky fan.
Yep.
And he says to me, my guy Alex.
He says
he thought Will Levis was fine until his offensive line was in shambles. And then at that point, he just got pummeled every game.
Well, you're playing at Kentucky in the SEC.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're not playing at Alabama in the SEC where you can absorb 2 or 3 guys getting hurt.
Right.
Because the next 3 guys up are all 5-star, first-team high school All-Americans and, like, the Gatorade Player of the Year.
Do you feel comfortable with the Raiders' offensive line? I mean, he may not have to play anyway. It's going to be Jimmy G, obviously, at the beginning anyways.
But I like that he looks like the new style of quarterback. He doesn't look like Marino and Elway. He looks like the new style. He's fit. He's lean. He's very athletic. I like it.
All right, let's break early here because the Hall of Famer, GP, is in the house.
The glove.
I was there when he won his championship. I was there when he won his championship ring. I was there. So we'll talk to the glove next. Let's take a quick break. We're here at Yaamava. We'll talk to GP in a second here on 710 ESPN.
The Southland. You know what we do at 5:30 Radio Tinder Time? We like to play a TV theme. Yes! On this day, 45 years ago, the television show Dallas premiered on CBS. I think it went until 1992. Is that right? Nearly 20 years on television. I know Sedano thinks he's J.R. Ewing, but I'm more of a J.R. Ewing type. Plus, I wear cowboy boots. Sedano. You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Don't forget about our sponsor, Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala. Take it away, producer Lindsay.
Thanks, Christopher. Actually, going to throw it back to you, Sedano.
Yeah, thank you very much because we have the Hall of Famer, Gary Payton.
GP.
The glove is
The
in
glove.
the house. Let's give it up for GP.
The glove.
First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
So tonight, right? Like, you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment these kids are going through, right? They're on the biggest stage. They're playing in football stadiums. It has got to be as wild could be. When you think back, and look, pressure was never something you cared about. You were applying pressure on people. But when you think of some of the biggest stages you were on, what were those games like pregame?
Well, you know what? If you really getting into it and you want to do it, you got butterflies at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But then once you get out on the basketball floor, it's easy. Once it goes in, it's just like riding a bike. You get into it and then you start playing. You just got to make sure that your teammates is not in that panic mode because you got to get them more relaxed. And what I did was I just try to get them relaxed. I just try to get the players. It's another game. Yeah, it's a basic game. Once the ball gets thrown up, let's just go out and go get it. You know what I'm saying? And then let's cut off the mistakes. because a lot of teams start making a lot of mistakes, and then the mistakes compile up, and then all of a sudden you're down 15, and then you're trying to chase to get back in the game. And I just tell people to be calm, play the same game. It's a normal game, and it'll work out for you.
But Gary, let's talk about defensive positioning, though. Like, if you're San Diego State, you've gotten here because you play swarming defense. And, you know, it was interesting, because George and I were at the game the other night, is that when they're down 14 points, I look at these guys sitting next to me, I go, they're not built to come back. But what they did do is they stayed true to who they are, like how they play. What is it about defense that the game doesn't have nowadays that allows a team like this that can't score to be able to get to the championship game?
Well, you know what? I was at that same game, and I was watching FAU, and they were playing really well. They were making shots, and I think that, you know, what San Diego did is that they when they do get down and they can't shoot the basketball like that and they got to penetrate, shots weren't going in. But what they did was they picked up intensity. They started staying focused. They staying there. They were staying there. And then they got down 14. And I said, well, this looks like a little bit, it's going to be trouble. But what they did was they created turnovers. They started blocking shots, and then they got into the run, and then they weren't setting up. When they did not set up to run an offense and had running and their defense applied, they got right back in the game really, really quickly. And that's what they do to teams. They speed teams up, and then all of a sudden teams start making quick shots. They go on turnovers, and then they start getting dunks, and then all of a sudden they make shots, and then it goes right for them. And that's what San Diego did.
You know why he knows that? Because when he was in Seattle, he'd be applying pressure to every point guard, and all of a sudden, Sean Kemp would leak out, and an easy bucket for Sean Kemp thanks to GP.
And that's the way, that's the way the San Diego guards play.
Yeah.
Remember, they pressure 94 feet.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They make the guys turn, and then all of a sudden, when they get to it in a 30-second clock, it's already down to 14.
Right.
And then they're speeding their game up, and then all of a sudden that happens. It creates bad shots, and next thing you know, you get a turnover here, and then they're out running. And when they're out running, they're very comfortable, and then their big men start to go to work in the inside. You remember they start going and attacking, spinning, and getting a little easy hook jump shots. And then all of a sudden, they're back in the game. I think San Diego could have beat them by more than that, but they missed free throws.
They were 13 of 22 on free throws.
Right. They only shot 59% from the free throw line, and then it was bad.
Gary, but let me ask you, did you stay for the Connecticut-Miami game?
I did.
So you've seen Connecticut steamroll everybody in the tournament. You saw them destroy Miami. Can San Diego State win this game tonight?
Yes, they can, but what I think they have to do is they can't get out of their character. I don't think if they get down 15-16 against Connecticut, they'll come back. Connecticut got big guys. They got big men, and they can shoot the basketball, and they play defense too. I think what San Diego have to do is they can't make a lot of mistakes. They got to pressure them, and then they got to go at the big guys, and they got to go at them. I think if they attack the basket, get them in foul trouble, they'll have a chance. But UConn comes off the bench with great basketball players.
Oh, yeah.
I think their second unit is better than their first unit, me personally. And then that's what they do. They just pick at you, and they knock down shots. The big men were knocking down shots the other night. Yeah. And they just have to stay within themselves. Don't get out of yourself, and then just try to play their defense and then get easy baskets.
Gary Payton, the Glove Hall of Famer, with us here.
The Glove is in the house, everybody.
Sedano and Cap here on 710 ESPN. Speaking of defense, obviously you're one of the greatest defenders of all time.
Just by virtue of nickname alone.
Oh, obviously. But we know that you're one of the greatest defenders of all time. You took so much pride in playing defense. You were an incredible offensive player too, but you owned that territory on the floor. Who's the guy that when you saw him on the schedule and you were getting to the arena that night, you were like, I want that challenge tonight? Who was the guy that or maybe it could be a couple guys, but who are the guys that immediately come out?
Only one that I really did research on, and then I got ready for it. I didn't do nothing the night before. Was John Stockton. I just couldn't figure him out for 6 years.
Wow.
I couldn't figure him out, and then all of a sudden, I used to get in a lot of people's head. But I couldn't get into his head because he never really responded to me.
He never said
He just walked by like he's stone-faced. You know what I'm saying? And that really bothered me until I figured him out.
Yeah.
I just had to be quiet myself against him and just play him because he was taking charges. Yeah. He was doing things like that. And people didn't understand. He only played 34 minutes a game.
Right.
And then you look up on the board, he had 26, 14, 5-5, and that was just something that I just couldn't think about, every night that I had to go up against. And he played 34 minutes, and I played 44 minutes, and I had to do more work. And he was the only one I would, at nighttime, I would be like, what can I do? What can I do different to change my game to make sure I match him? And they were winning a lot of games. Him and Carl, all of them. They had great basketball teams, and it was hard to go into Utah and beat them. So when we played at Utah, I didn't do anything. I just got in the bed and I focused on what I needed to do to stop him to give us a chance to win the game.
You didn't eat pizza like Mike?
No, I still have my Big Macs and fries and chicken McNuggets before the game. That was my ritual.
Right.
So, that's what I did.
But Glove, let me ask you this: in 2003, when you just mentioned Karl Malone, both come to the Lakers at the same time. I mean, I remember that period of time. Like, what? Gary Payton and the mailman, the Glove and the mailman are coming to the Lakers? And believe it or not, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you remember about that time, about the two of you coming to the Lakers, given who they had at the time, given who was coaching at the time, and what was going on in your world that you came to the Lakers then?
Well, you know what? Me and Carl had talked about it for a year, because his contract was coming up, mine was coming up, and we didn't really think that we were going to be in Utah or Seattle for too much longer. So we decided that as soon as we got out of there and I got traded to Milwaukee, we knew that we were going to go somewhere together. And then Magic started calling, Dr. Buzz started calling, and that made it. Shaq was a big friend to me and him. So we were talking, and all of a sudden we just said we're going to decide to go, but we had to figure out who's going to take the less money.
Right, because of the mid-level exception.
Middle-level exception.
Yeah.
And Carl just said, forget it. You can have it. We'll do what we have to do, and let's just go and win it. It was a good situation. Kobe was in his prime. Shaq was still good. And then during the summer, Kobe got into his situation.
Right.
And then Shaq wanted to go and start deciding that he wants to get contract and then get into it with Dr. Buzz. But that's the way it goes. We were still playing very good basketball. We were 18-2 when Carl got hurt. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it was. When Carl got hurt, we was 18-2. All of us was averaging 17 points a game. And he was the one who had the glue for us. He was the one that kept the triangle together and did that. Once he got hurt, and then Kobe started, doing what happened there, and then, Shaq did the same thing, we still stayed afloat. The players that was off the bench, and I was the only one that played 82 games. I was going to play the whole full season. And then all of a sudden, we made it and beat the number one team in the Western Conference, in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And we got to the finals, but by that time, I think the air was out of us.
Well, let me ask you this, because and maybe you just explained it there, but I still contend, because Carl got hurt in that series against the Pistons too.
Well, what happened was they were treating the wrong injury.
Okay.
And then the real injury that he really got hurt popped.
Right.
And it popped on him, and that was a big blow to us there too.
Right. So I contend that if he was 100% healthy, I think that's a different series.
Absolutely. I think if he was 100% healthy, he would have changed the whole game.
Yeah.
See, he could have guarded Ben. Ben would have had to guard him.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Rasheed, all them guys were making shots. But I think that if Carl was with us, I think he changes the whole game because he's going to do a lot of things. We're going to put him on the post. We got Shaq on the other side, and then we can go to work. But other than that, I think Detroit was just rolling at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is that you're talking about 20 years ago, and the Lakers having to overcome issues along the way to knock off a number one seed, right? We've been talking all afternoon here. What do you think about this year's Lakers and where they are right now, health-wise, roster-wise, and then looking at the rest of the conference? What's been a crazy year. Can the Lakers maybe do something that nobody could have projected a month ago?
I don't know about that because I don't know what's going to happen. AD if he stays healthy, I think they have a great shot. I think what LeBron has done is I think that what he is there is he's resting himself so that they can make that push. They've been playing very well. They've been playing really well to try not to be in the play-in and the tournament. But I think they're going to stay in the play-in tournament, and then whoever plays them there, I think they'll go and play the number one seed and play Denver. But I don't know if they can be able to make it. I think
win 3 or 4 rounds. You're saying?
Well, I don't think 3 or 4 rounds they can win it.
Did they beat Denver?
I don't think they can beat Denver. I don't think Denver team. This is the first year I've seen Denver healthy, and with a full team that can go forward in the playoffs. You remember when they get in the playoffs, they don't really win games.
Yeah.
But I think this year, with everybody healthy, that's a Denver team that can be reckoned with, and I think that's the team that could go out the West.
See, I think the West, is pretty wide open, like in the sense of like everybody's got a flaw, right? Is the way I would look at it.
Right.
But to me, the power's in the East right now, which is crazy. It's been 25 years since we've said that.
Right.
You look at Milwaukee, you look at Philly, you look at Boston. To me, those are the three best teams in basketball. What do you think?
I think so. I really do think so. But I don't put the West out when you got a good young Memphis team and a good Denver team with the Joker.
Okay.
But I still think that Giannis and Boston them are the top of the level right now. They are the team that should have to get beat. I don't think if Golden State, if they gets back to playing defense,
and Wiggins is back.
Wiggins
now.
back. If Wiggins come back, they're going to be a team to reckon with too, because I think they're starting to get into their flow, and they're going to be able. They're champs still. I think a championship team that knows how to win can win games.
Now, real quick, what did it feel like to watch your son win a championship like that? I would imagine there's immense pride there for sure.
And Michael Thompson works with us, and so the relationship there.
Right. Yeah. Well, we were only one of the two, the five of the two.
Yeah.
To win a father-son championship, but you turn into a basketball player, who I am, to a father. That's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? You take it a little bit different. I stopped critiquing my son like 2-3 years ago because they don't like it. We already fathered him.
How old are you?
I'm 55.
How old is he?
He's 30.
Okay.
So, it's like what you can't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to listen. Right. They don't want to listen. Your kids don't want to listen to you, especially if they've been around you all their life. They're going to listen to somebody else before they listen to me. So I stopped critiquing him. I don't call him anymore to talk to about a game. If he calls me, I'll give him the heads up. Now he's more happy when he sees me in the stands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's always asking, is my father here?
Yeah.
Where is he at? Is he gone? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to see. I want to be the father now. And last year was really great to see my son do that, and then he gets to brag. I let him brag on me. He wins it before me. He does all that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But
does he do that? Does he tell you, I got a championship before you did?
Yeah, he does. He does. And it's crazy that he
funny.
does it. But, I'm just happy for him. He went through a journey that it was too long for him to get to this level, and now he's there.
An incredible story. I don't know how familiar you are with GP II's background through the G League multiple times, multiple
It wasn't
teams.
easy. He's got the name, but it wasn't like first round and immediate superstardom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's funny you just said something really interesting. And everybody who's listening who has a kid who plays sports, especially little sports, hasn't gotten to where you were. I think I just got there this past football season. My son's going into his senior year of college football. I went to see him play. And for some reason, I had this calmness, whereas normally I was like always so uptight because I thought I could do it better than him.
Right.
And I thought that I couldn't help him in any way. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden there was this calm, like, you know what? I think he's actually got this.
Yeah.
I think he's got it.
Yeah.
And I all of a sudden started to enjoy it rather than like losing my mind over it.
Right.
I'm curious. Can you think of a when where all of a sudden you just let it go?
Well, when he got into the pros, college, I was like that, like what you are. I was like that. I was sitting on the sidelines. I was always uptight. And then I would think about me, not him.
Right.
He's not me. It's only one Gary Payton. I just named him after me. That's it.
Yeah.
And I done told him, and we had a conversation, and I said, don't be like me. Don't try to be like me. Try to be aside me. So if you see that picture up there, have your picture on the other side, because that's the only way you can play the game. And when he started playing that, and then I think about 2 years ago, I started seeing my son make that turnaround where I said, this kid is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So I have to leave him alone and play within his game. He can't play like me. He's got to play like himself. And that's when he started seeing it and he started changing it. And then the big thing was when Golden State came and got him. And Steve Kerr let him be him.
Yeah.
That's when you got to understand a coach has to let a person be that person. And now he's very effective with what he's doing.
Speaking of being that person, you are, in my opinion, the greatest trash talker of all time. Who was the guy that you saw on the other side that you're like, oh, I am always in this dude's head?
Everybody. Everybody.
Is there one guy in particular that you knew he was squeamish around?
I mean, didn't you go after Stockton? You were trying to figure out.
I was trying to figure it out, but
there were a lot of guys that you got in the head with.
Yeah, I got in a lot of guys' heads, but it's like that one guy you knew you couldn't get into his head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody, I went at everybody because I tried everybody. You know what I'm saying?
But tell me about trying to get into Michael's head in that final series. Because you
just talk to Mike. Mike is easy.
You made him work in that series.
Mike is easy because Mike is a competitor.
Right.
He's going to come back at you and he's going to respond to everything you say.
Right.
Because he's going to try to outdo you.
Yeah.
And he wants to make sure that nobody sees that.
Yeah.
So that was easy for me to go at him because I know I was going to get some chirping back all the time. And that's what he did. You know, he wouldn't have been a competitor if he didn't do that.
Right.
But he was effective because he can always back it up.
Yeah.
I like players that don't back down. If you back down to me, I don't have no more respect for you.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
You know, and then the respect goes out the door.
Yeah.
But when you have respect with guys that will come back at you and talk.
Yeah.
Chris Paul was a key thing. He was a rookie.
Yeah.
I went at him. And he was getting coached by Byron Scott. And Byron Scott said, GP, come here, man. Let me tell you something. That one right there is real. He going to go back at you.
Yeah.
And I respected him from ever since he was a young rookie.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you this, that I couldn't get at him like that because he wouldn't let me do that.
Right.
And I respect players like that, and that's why Chris Paul has been a big. I've been a big supporter of his because he did that and the way he played.
Anybody though, you say Michael Jordan would come back at you. Who can you see that you just got to that you lost respect for? You're like, I already got this guy. I got no respect for this guy.
Well, you know what?
And in a basketball way.
In basketball way, Lamar Odom was that guy.
Oh, I remember the game. I was there.
Lamar Odom was that guy.
Heat Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, I knew that I could get at him all the time because of the response that he did. You know, and then I really went over the line about it with it because I knew that I can go at him every time. And I just thought about it, and I just like, you know, he's not the one that I need to get at, you know what I'm saying? Because he's not that type of guy inside to do it. And then I said some things that was really, really disrespectful, and, you know, and I didn't know about his mom, you know, at the situation. So it was a bad thing for me. So I left it alone after that. But every time I went at him, I would think about, you know, I can go at him any kind of way and I'll get a reaction.
How fun was it going against Kobe?
Really fun. Kobe was a great kid. You know what I'm saying? When I got to play with him, I was around him a lot, you know what I'm saying? But he was a competitor. You know what I'm saying? He would always do this. If you get a good game against him, he'll come and talk to you. And then he'll be like, what should I work on?
Right.
What should I do? And when you do that, he would go and change his clothes, get in his practice gear, and come out after the game and work out 2 hours more on what you just told him.
Yeah.
And that's the way he was. One night, I got a call from him about 12:30 at night, you know, and he was like, what you doing? And I was like, man, nothing. What's up? You know, I was thinking something was wrong. And he was like, could you come to the gym? And I drove all the way down to the gym in Manhattan Beach, and me and him worked out from 1 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning.
Remember what night of the week this was?
It was probably like a Wednesday or a Thursday.
And you were home, like your phone?
We was at home.
Like you answered a landline?
No, it was my cell phone.
Yeah. Okay.
Right by my on my desk right here when I was sleeping, and I'm like, oh man, don't nothing be wrong.
Right.
You know
well, you get that call that late at night.
You get your call and it's from him.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking something's wrong.
Yeah.
So then we go, and then I get up and leave, and look, we had a game the next day. We had a game the next day, and that was so special about him. It's because he didn't care about asking how to get better. That's why he was the player he was, because he wanted to get better and better and better. And he didn't care about if you done killed him the night before or whatever. He would say, yo, look at me, tell me what I need to do to get better at this. And that's what he did a lot.
He's Gary Payton, the Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
the glove.
Unbelievable.
With us here on
Look at this crowd.
710 ESPN.
How's this crowd right here?
There it is.
How's this crowd at Yaamava?
Thank you so much, GP, for hanging out with us.
No
Always
problem.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys for having me.
You look like you're in good shape. If I took you tonight and said you got to play 10 minutes in tonight's national championship game,
I hurt them kids.
Oh, you put it on them, huh?
I hurt the kids.
Really?
Because I coach college now. I'm a coach now, head coach at a college.
Tell us where, by the way.
At Lincoln University.
Okay.
At Lincoln University. So it's like
in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area. Yeah. So it's like when I'm out there with them kids, I have to show them that who I really am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they see me, but they don't know who I really am.
Yeah.
So because they still think now that I done got older, that you can still get at me. But I put the wood on them, I lay them down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
yes,
they
I do.
Like, Coach, you still can move, Coach. Yeah. You real strong. I said, see, that's what we talking about. Yeah. So don't act like you can get at me like that.
Yeah.
So it'd be like that.
Don't get confused by the gray in the
don't
beard.
get confused.
Yeah.
You know, I can't dye it. But I don't want you to.
Just
I want
for
you
men.
to know. Yeah,
Just for men.
I just want you to understand I can still do it.
Yeah.
Gary Payton, ladies and gentlemen, hanging out with us here. All right,
yes,
we're back.
sir.
Radio Tinder on the other side here at Yaamava on 710 ESPN.
On this day, 45 years ago, the television show Dallas premiered on CBS. I think it went until 1992. Is that right? Nearly 20 years on television. I know Sedano thinks he's J.R. Ewing, but I'm more of a J.R. Ewing type. Plus, I wear cowboy boots. Sedano. You can follow her at Lindsay Baseball on Twitter or Instagram. Don't forget about our sponsor, Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala. Take it away, producer Lindsay.
Thanks, Christopher. Again, for the second time today. Love hearing your voice.
Hey, can I just say one thing? What an amazing crowd of people we have here today at Yaamava at the 909. That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
I thought everybody came to see me and Sedano. Apparently, everybody came to see Gary Payton. I guess that's the situation here. But we're happy you guys are all here because Gary Payton, let me ask you a question. How amazing was Gary Payton just now?
Oh, he's amazing. He's always been amazing.
Great interview, GP.
He's the best, man.
I feel like Gary Payton and I are best friends now.
Yeah, probably you think that. All right, Linz, what do you got?
By the way, Cappy, my dad, what do you call him again? Dad Baseball?
Daddy Baseball, that's right.
He texted me during the Gary Payton interview and said, phenomenal interview.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so good stuff. Anyway, so just like Elon Musk promised, Twitter has begun removing those legacy verified blue check marks. To keep your blue check mark, users will have to pay that $8 a month fee for Twitter Blue.
Not happening.
It appears that some of the biggest athletes in the world are unconcerned about losing their verification status, and among those is LeBron. He tweeted over the weekend, well, guess my blue check will be gone soon because if you know me, I ain't paying the $5. And then there was also Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who joked that he can't pay because, quote, he got kids, bro. Other celebrities have spoken out against having to pay for their check marks as well. So do you guys think that Elon Musk will allow celebrities and athletes to keep their check marks for free? Swipe left or swipe right? Sedano.
I'm going to swipe left. I think Elon's in it for the cash. What do you think, Cappy?
I'm going to swipe right because I think that
he likes the clout?
I think that he will eventually say that by taking LeBron's blue check mark or Patrick Mahomes' blue check mark, if they don't have them, then a civilian probably no longer wants them because it's like, hey, if LeBron's got a blue check mark, I got a blue check mark. I'm just a regular guy. That's LeBron. Point is that I think that it makes it more attractive to want a blue check mark if all the celebrities have them.
Right.
So
You're right. I saw someone posted it who used to work for Twitter, posted like a thread about the check marks and how they think that this is completely going to backfire on Twitter for that exact reason. Because they said, well, we verified people because we wanted people to know you're talking to the real deal here. Like these people's tweets mean something because they're celebs, they're whatever they are, news outlets, whatever the case is.
Did I also see last week that if you don't pay for the blue check mark, that you can no longer put out polls and you can no longer...
no polls, and you can't and like your replies to tweets will be somewhat hidden or like buried down in a thread.
Somebody sent me a message the other day. Actually, you probably know the guy, Matt Moreno from Dodger Blue.
Yeah.
I
don't know him personally, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's very good.
He sent me an email the other day. He said, Twitter just threw you guys a layup, meaning Cited, which is now purely a polling service.
Yeah.
He's like, it just did you guys this huge favor. I'm like, gosh, I never really even thought about it.
Good
That's
call.
right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So
Good for
download the app.
Yeah, good for Cited. Now you need to figure out a way to like integrate the polls into the tweets somehow.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Anyway, next one. MLB's new rules are working as hoped through the first 4 days of the season. The average game time has dropped by 30 minutes. Stolen bases have doubled, and batting average has increased by 16 percentage points compared with last year's opening weekend. Games average 2 hours and 38 minutes through Sunday with the new pitch clock, down from last year's average of 3 hours and 5 minutes. So I heard Ramona and Mason talking about this earlier, and Ramona said that she doesn't like how short or quick the games are because she said she feels like she's rushed. Do you guys agree, or do you like the shortened games for baseball? Swipe left or swipe right, Cappy?
I'm going to swipe left and say that I don't, but here's why. Because truth be told, the season started on Thursday, and we've had 4 days of the Major League Baseball season. I didn't watch any of spring training other than the highlights of guys dealing with the clocks themselves. But in the first 4 games of the season, I have not yet sat down and really been to or watched a game because I got myself all caught up into this March Madness fever. So I will have a much stronger opinion about whether or not these clocks are rushing me as a fan in about a week or two.
Why are you? But you have that anxiety during the clocks?
Not me.
I was going to say I love it.
Ramona was saying
she has anxiety.
That when she's at the game, instead of it being like a relaxing
she's focusing
thing,
on the clock.
And she says, like you can't get there in the 4th inning anymore and be there for 3 hours.
No,
that's big in LA
so
too.
Here, you know what? It's funny. I'm going to twist this a little bit. I'm going to swipe left, right? Because I don't think it causes me an anxiety. I actually really enjoy it. I love the fact that they're 31 minutes shorter. But here's the thing: like I've watched a lot of the broadcasts, and I have not watched the Dodgers game yet this season, so I have not seen what they're doing on Spectrum. But I watched the Cubs game because our boy Boog Shambi does the games.
The Boogly Boogler.
Yeah. And Marquee Sports Network, which is like the Spectrum Sports of the Cubs, they have the pitch clock right next to where the balls and strikes are. So it's like everything like I've seen some places where they do it like on a separate bug, like away from where the score is and all that. That's distracting to me. But if it's right there where I'm looking anyway for balls and strikes and who's on base and what inning it is, I think that is brilliant. Like, if I were every network, I would copy what they're doing because it becomes less of a distraction that way.
I just think that shorter games are better. There's been too many times where I've watched a game that's lasted 4+ hours. And I'm like, let's go, people, while we're young, And so I'm happy that the games are shorter, but I will be able to give you a much stronger opinion when I really, really sit down, because thus far, I got myself all wrapped up into March Madness.
I went to check the score of the Guardians game on Wednesday, and it was like 9:15, and I was like, oh my gosh, the game's already over.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. 2 hours, 8 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, last one for you guys.
I have one because somebody just texted this to me, but go ahead.
Okay, so I graduated high school when I was 16, a little early, but, that was a very, very long time ago. So long that over the weekend, I got an email about our upcoming 20-year high school reunion. Not going to lie, made me cringe. I really don't think I have any desire to go, mingle with these people that I haven't seen or talked to in 20 years. And, with Facebook now, I feel like I know anybody who I really care about, I know what they're doing. So for you guys, did you go to any of your high school reunions? Swipe left or
I did.
swipe right?
I went to my 10-year reunion, swipe right.
I went to my 10, but 20, I don't know. I feel like it's too much time.
No, I went to my 22. Hold on, I'm trying to think.
I went to my 10.
Uh-huh.
I went to my 20.
Yeah, because
and that's the last one I've been to.
Yeah, me too. I haven't gotten to 30 yet. So.
But I think, let's see, I graduated in 88, high school in 1988, so I think 2018 was my 30, and I did not go to that one. I think 10-year, you're like, hey, let's see what's going on with everybody.
Everybody's like still kind of building their life.
Figuring out what they're going to do,
20-year, you're trying to figure out, would I still go to bed with her? Does she want to go to bed with me? Like, that's the way it was.
Yeah.
And,
now, were you still with the ex at that time?
I was, which is why I wasn't capable of doing some of the things that were offered to me. But now I feel like my 40-year, because now as people get older and there's fewer, that's probably the one I will go to next.
Oh, because you want to go for...
You find someone to shtup there?
I could. It depends on what me and Rachel are doing at that time.
The divorcees
I got
club.
a few more years.
Yeah.
My girls, hey, listen, the girls who I went to high school with, they still looked hot. AF.
Yeah, me too.
10-year and 20-year.
Yeah. So, is that it? You know what? I'll tell you the story I just got. I didn't realize this is pretty funny. That somebody sent, and apparently it's about, I'm included in this story. I didn't
saw
know.
you over there laughing to yourself. Like, what's going on?
I saw that, and I was like, wait, is this for real? So anyway, I'll tell you what that story is. It involves March Madness. Since we have one more segment to go, we're here at Yaamava. Hang out with us. The Glove is in the house taking pictures. The Glove is signing autographs. GP, Hall of Famer, here on 710 ESPN.
radio station.
710 ESPN.
Sedano and Cap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by our friend Lindsay. Lindsay, what do you got?
Well, Golden State forward Andrew Wiggins is nearing a return to the team and is expected to be back earlier this week, sources told Woj earlier today. Wiggins, who's missed 22 consecutive games attending to a family member, is expected to be back in the Bay Area as soon as the next 24 hours. It's unclear how much he'll play in the team's final 3 regular season games, but his return would come with enough time to prepare for the play-in tournament and playoffs beginning next week. And, of course, the Warriors are currently the 6th seed in the West. So that's what you need to know.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see where all these teams end up. They're so jumbled together. But Andrew Wiggins, here's an interesting stat for you, Cappy. When the Warriors have their starting 5 that won the championship last year intact. So it's Steph, Clay, Draymond, Kevon Looney, and Andrew Wiggins. They are a plus 22 points per 100 possessions. That is the best starting 5 in all of the NBA this season. So, much like the Lakers have been going through turmoil, I'm curious to see if the Warriors could also overcome some of the challenges that they've faced. I think that it will be tough because at the moment they'd have to face Phoenix in the first round, and the last person you want to see is KD. Although, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on KD in that scenario to have to face his old team.
No doubt. Hey, listen, talking to Gary Payton off air, I mean, he's pretty bullish
on the Warriors.
Yeah. Getting Wiggins back and then what that could mean for that team. So
that's a big number. Plus 22 is not a small number.
What would be amazing is if somehow, and I don't know if it can possibly ever work out based on who's sitting where right now and how many games are remaining.
Yeah.
What if the Lakers saw the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals?
That'd be insane.
That would be crazy. Like KD.
Oh, it would be the
Phoenix,
NBA's dream.
Right. Phoenix gets knocked out.
Right.
You know, Denver was never really as great. Hey, talk to Gary Payton. He thinks they're for real.
Yeah, they are. I've been telling you they're for real. So now that GP says it, you agree.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I've been telling you all season.
Well, look, I mean, you don't respect anything I have to say when it comes to basketball, so I've become very skeptical of your opinions.
Now the Hall of Famer validated it.
Right. That's why I was trying to tell you last week, the whole LeBron thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just my opinion. It was Jay Williams' opinion.
Yeah.
And you said, George.
It was a silly opinion.
I said, do you respect Jay Williams?
And I said, yes.
You say, so therefore you should respect his opinion.
But doesn't mean I have to agree with his opinion.
Disagree?
Yeah.
You just got to respect it.
All right. So that is what you need to know. Now, here's what you need to know. This is what I was laughing about earlier. So, obviously, you and I Saturday were at the Final Four. By the way, Adam is calling you.
This guy is calling me, and he's at the game right now.
Yeah.
And he probably thinks I'm at the game.
Right.
And if he knows that I'm not at the game, he's going to be like yelling at me, how could you leave this game?
Right.
And I'll be like, I had a commitment. Hey, by the way, I thought it was a big deal that I left for the game tonight.
Yeah.
I said how much you were more committed than I was.
Yeah.
How about
committed to you.
Gary Payton was there, too.
Yeah.
I didn't know Gary Payton was there.
There was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
I saw T-Mac. I was hanging out with him for a second.
Did you see Kirk? Did you guys see Kirk Morrison
I
there?
did not see Kirk there.
Did not.
No.
I thought he was going to be at the game today, but he said he wasn't. He had to get back to coach basketball.
So
commitments.
So page 6, I got this text, right? And it just, it was like, yo, check this out. And I'm like, all right, whatever. It's page 6, New York Post.
Yep.
And it's Robert Kraft sends Patriots playing for Miami basketball team after March Madness loss. So I thought that's why they were sending it to me. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I glance through it, and basically, Robert Kraft sent back, you went on a private jet. They said he sent his own private jet, the Patriots plane.
Why?
To pick up the Miami guys.
Why?
Maybe he's friends with Larinaga or something. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he knows everybody, Robert Kraft, right?
Pretty nice of him to do.
So in this write-up, they're talking about who was at the game. All these NFL alumni, Michael Irvin, Edgerrin James, all the Miami guys. Barrios, Clinton Portis, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson. Lakers player Devon Reed.
Didn't see him.
Yeah. He was.
Wouldn't know him.
And Lonnie Walker.
Didn't see him either.
He also played for the University of Miami. Sources told page 6. So there's a picture of Michael Irvin there, hanging out, people taking pictures of him. And then... talks about FAU versus San Diego State for a second. And then at the end of this thing, I'm scrolling down, it says, other Miami faithful included Power Public Relations maven Ron Berkowitz and ESPN sportscaster George Sedano.
How about that?
Oh, dang, you're on page 6?
Hell yeah.
Now me and Key have something in common.
Dude, I try to explain this to people. This is a star-studded show. This is the kind of show where a guy shows up in page 6 just for being at a basketball game.
Right.
It's the kind of show where a guy is
Do you think Mason and Ireland are getting into page 6?
No, it's the kind of show where a guy is hanging out with the broadcaster who's like the centerpiece of the entire universe.
Right.
Like, this is a star-studded, L.A. caliber Hollywood radio show.
How do you think Mason will feel if he reads that?
Oh, send it to him right now.
He'll be, you think, how jealous from like 1 to
Very.
10 do you think?
11.
11.
Yes.
Cappy, 11?
You're going to be pretty upset about it.
That's big
Tell you
time.
that.
There's
You'd be
like
pretty upset about
that
it.
is the like gossip, celebrity.
I was one of the people to be seen, apparently.
Yep.
Hey, look.
I didn't know that.
I was listening earlier today to Mason. He was talking about Jim Nantz. I'm like, did you not see any of my social media this week?
You were all over
He's
it.
like, no, I didn't see any of it. I'm like, you better go check it out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, my God, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm like, yeah. So,
Oh, the wings are here, bro.
all right, hey, let's grab the chef for a quick second here.
Chef, here you go. Hold on, chef. Hold on. I got to eat this. This is which one? Okay, so tell us what wings we. Oh, the chef's got to put his hat away real quick. Sorry about that.
It's hard to put on a pair of headphones when you got
around
the chef
hat.
hat
I
on.
understand that. Chef, can you give us your name for everybody here?
Chef Everton Clark.
Chef
Yes,
Everton
Chef.
Clark.
How about a round of applause
Shout
for
out
Chef
to
Everton
Chef
Clark.
Everton Clark.
Doing a hell of a job
All
here.
right, you have brought us the amazing pizza, right? What was that called?
The Mezzaluna.
The Mezzaluna was incredible.
Can you describe it? Because I'm just about to try my first bite of the Mezzaluna.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So on one side of the Mezzaluna, you have the mac and cheese inside. And then on the other side, you have some andouille sausage. You have some brisket. You have some jalapenos, some green onions, and then we have our secret sauce on top.
George said it was pretty damn spicy.
It was spicy but good. Like
It's a
good
good spice.
spicy.
It's a good spice.
So delicious.
Let me try this.
Go ahead, give it a bite.
I went right in on the tri-tip.
Yeah.
Big old bite of the tri-tip.
Get the sausage though. That's where the spice is.
Chef, very good.
Yeah,
Very,
get
very
a little
good.
get a little sausage bite in there. Yeah.
We're actually doing this for March Madness. So as we come to the end of March Madness, we're going to extend it and keep it.
Oh
going.
wow. Great. Because
Absolutely.
it's April Madness now. Did you get the sausage in there now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sausage gone.
Incredible, huh? Now, tell us about these wings you got here. We got 3 sets of wings. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, habanero on the left?
Habanero.
Yeah.
And then you have your
Traditional
hot-
buffalo?
Yes, and then these are what we call our crispy wings.
Oh, see, I like a nice dry rub.
Yeah.
That looks
Exactly.
like a nice...
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. So a little like dry rub, almost lemon peppery, maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
and
delicious.
just like the glove, these stick to your ribs.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
These
you
stick,
go.
so you got to come over and try them. Right over by Get It Grill. Once the game start, please step over and start ordering.
Yeah, GP was disappointed that he ate before coming here.
Yeah.
So.
GP, Gary,
GP,
you got to come over and try one of
you
these.
got to get some of these wings, GP.
Come on,
Gotta
you
have
got
the
to
wings.
try it.
He's coming over. He's
Gotta have
got
the
he's got stuff to sign. He's got a lot of people here, but he'll get in on that.
These are you got to try one.
All right, here comes Gary
GP's
Payton.
here.
Gary
All right,
Payton's going in.
Habanero.
Habanero, that's really hot.
Yeah.
That's traditional buffalo, and this is just like a
Dry rub.
lemon pepper.
Dry
like a
rub.
crispy.
All right, he's going in. GP going in on the dry rub.
What do you think, GP?
Okay, he's tasting.
He's tasting it. He's tasting
He's
it.
chewing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going
He's
in
going for a
bite
big
two.
bite now.
Bite two.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Bite two is
Wait
in.
for it.
Oh, he's
bite
going
3.
all in.
There we go.
Oh, now
Here
it's-
we go.
now
There it is.
Oh,
He gets the dap.
Chef.
He gets the dap.
Chef. Yes.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
GP knows.
I'm in on that, GP.
He knows what time it is.
Yeah.
It's wing time.
Yeah. Get in. We'll get in on that.
Grab a couple more.
Yeah, we will. We will. Absolutely, sir.
Chef, a pleasure to see you.
Thank
you
you
so
so
And
much.
thank you for having
Yes,
us yet
thank you
again.
for having us.
You and
Oh.
your staff and everybody
Incredible.
who works here at Yaamava are amazing partners of
Yeah.
ours, and we love being here.
We love the partnership.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
you.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you, Chef Everton Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
Chef
Shout out to him.
Everton.
Yeah. So, Cappy, we have 3.5 minutes here before we got to go.
Yep.
Your team, we'll call him. You're a Pitt guy, but you've adopted San Diego State for many years.
I've been around the San Diego State basketball team since the beginning.
Right.
When Steve Fisher was walking around campus handing out tickets and asking the kids, please come to
in.
the game.
Right.
I was there the day when Coach Fisher handed it off to Coach Dutcher. I've been lucky, George, very, very lucky to be close to Coach Fisher,
Yeah.
his son Mark,
Right.
his wife Angie,
Yeah.
Brian Dutcher,
Yeah.
his wife Jan, and I've gotten to see the San Diego State basketball program go from not really existing to tonight the all-time greatest achievement, which is make it to the championship game. But making it is great. But when you've come this far, I mean, I'm not saying you got to win because, if they don't win, everybody's still going to say what a great run it was. But this is your once-in-a-lifetime chance.
It's your one shining moment.
It's what it is, man. It's true.
Are you going to tear up when one shining moment happens if San Diego State wins?
100%. My son has been texting me. Now, my kids, none of them go to San Diego State. None of them wanted to go to San Diego State.
Right.
But
They're like, no way, Dad.
Right.
But
I want to get out of here and try something new.
But they have pride now.
But they have pride in their hometown
It's
school.
parochial, yeah.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
So I really hope San Diego State wins, but if I'm really, really being honest, I kind of feel like
UConn's going to roll. I mean, they're really good. They don't have many weaknesses, if any, to be honest with you.
I hate to have that in my mind.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you beat Charleston. You beat, who was that little Furman?
Yeah.
You beat Alabama, who was the number one team in the tournament.
Right.
So that's your accomplishment there.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment. And then you played FAU.
You squeaked by Creighton.
Yeah.
You squeaked by FAU. So either one, San Diego State knows how to win close games.
Right, because they play good defense.
Or two, they've never seen anything like UConn, and maybe they're out of gas tonight themselves.
Yeah. It could be.
But
tough.
I hope not, man.
I hope they win.
You want to hear a crazy story?
Tell me a crazy story, because we have 90 seconds.
There's a kid on the Connecticut team. His name is Joey Calcaterra.
Yeah.
Joey Calcaterra.
Yeah, I know.
He's a 24-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Who's a graduate student who transferred to Connecticut.
And he's a great shooter.
You want to know where he transferred from?
Where?
The University of San Diego.
Right.
So he played 4 years in the West Coast Conference,
right,
which is dominated by Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And as a sixth-year player,
going
transfers
to
UConn.
Hitting big threes.
And he's playing in the national championship game against the team that was the crosstown rival.
He hit 2 big threes in the last game.
Isn't that a crazy story?
Yeah, it is. And he plays a lot. So.
And one more shout-out.
One more.
Lamont Butler is from here in the Inland Empire. We're broadcasting from Yaamava today.
Right. Shout out to the IE.
Went to Riverside Poly High School.
Yeah.
If you are a coach, an administrator, a teacher, a schoolmate, or just a resident of the area, you should take so much pride in what that kid pulled off on Saturday night.
That's awesome. But let me tell you about taking pride. You know who takes pride?
Honest Abe.
Honest Abe at Fullerton Ford, man.
I knew that.
Changing the car buying experience. Whether you want to go there to buy a car, whether you want to just go test drive, they've got you. They treat you like a human being. They treat you like family. Marketing team, all our team here at 710 ESPN, Lindsay, Cappy, and for me, we're out of here. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. See ya.